Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial video. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make these blazers jackets simple and easy. So first of all, what you need is, as usual, your material, your tape, chalk, your measurements as well. So I'm going to be explaining what I'm doing here, and you just watch and follow the steps and you get the same result. So right here I'm marking the length of 25. Okay, the actual length is 24, so I'm adding additional 1 inches, okay, for the sewing allowance. Okay, so I'm going to, here I'm marking off the English mouth, that's what we call it, that the printed part of the fabric. That this part is not included in the fabric, so I'm just ruling it out. Okay, so make sure that it's equal, and you also make sure that you're marking at the wrong side of the fabric. This fabric is folded into two. Okay, the front is folded into two, so I'm marking at the wrong part, which is the back of the fabric. So now I measured 1 inch from the point that I marked off. Remember that the industrial mouth is not included, so I just marked 1 inch. And now I'm starting. I'll also expand this measurement a little wider. Okay, so I'm trying to expand right here, so I did the same measurement, 25, just to expand the measurement. Okay, so right here I'll use the measurement rule to make the stretch it a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to measure the chest circumference. Okay, the chest is 40, so this is going to be at 11. Okay, that's 40 divided by 4 is 10, but I add 1 inch for the sewing allowance as well. Okay, so making it 11. Hope you understand. So I marked my 11 right here, and then I'm going to as well join the dots together. Okay, this is the front parts of the jacket. This is the front parts of the jacket. Okay, so I mean the blazer jacket. So I'm just going to cut this part off. Okay, yeah. Then I'm equally going to remove these parts that I marked away, so you understand what I was talking about. Like I said earlier, the other part is not included in the measurement. That's the English mount that we usually call it. Yeah, okay. So now this is the actual body that we are working with, which is the chest divided by 4. In this case, the chest is 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 1 inch, that's 11 inches. Okay, but then I added 1 inch, that's for the overlapping in the front, you understand, so that the front will lap properly. Okay, so now this is the back, what I'll be using for the back. As you can see, it's folded into 2, and I measured the length of 25, as same as I did in the front. Okay, so this is the front now. Okay, I'm flipping it over. Always remember that you're marking at the wrong side, the back of the clothes. So now I'm keeping this on top. Remember that the back will be on the ground while the front will be on top. So as you can see, the overlap, the 1 inch overlap that I marked is showing. I don't know if this is very clear. Let me adjust my camera a little bit so you understand that I have additional 1 inch here. Okay, yeah. So that's the purpose of it, which means the back, I cut the back at 11 inches as well. You understand? So now I'm going to cut the neck. I'm going to cut the neck at 3 inches. Okay, I'm cutting at 3 inches. and then depth of 11 inches. It's usually 11 inches, okay, but you can equally measure the person to know how deep or how wide, should I say, how wide the person wants the opening to be. Okay, so I'm going to measure the shoulder, but before I measure the shoulder, I'm going to go down by 2 inches. You can decide to go by 2.5. You understand? It's mostly 2 or 2.5, because it's not supposed to be very tight on the armhole side. Instead, we have gone with 3, but I'd rather do 2 inches here, so to be a little free. These blazers is always worn over a shirt, a button-up shirt, so it has to have a little free feel on the armhole. Okay, so I'm simply joining the dots. All right, just as you can see in the video. If you follow every step here, now I'm marking the shoulder. Okay, from that the starting, not the very first point there. Okay, you can see where I marked my chalk on the floor, on the table there. That's where I'm starting. Okay, so the shoulder is 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, now I'm also doing 9 inches at the armhole. Okay, now I'm simply going to connect the dots. Remember that I used a measurement of 3 inches and a depth that's going down by 11 inches. This one is determinant of the style or the choice of the customer. It can go deeper, it can equally be smaller, you understand? So, but the basic measurement is mostly at 11 inches, which is what I used here. And now I'm using a freehand curve you can use a curvy ruler to connect these dots, but then I'm using a freehand. I prefer using a freehand though, but it's your choice. Okay, now I'm done with the up part. Now I'm going to make these little curves on the down. So I'm marking 2 inches and 2.5 inches. Okay, this determinant of style. You can do a little curve or just go crazy with it, you understand? And then at this other side, I'm marking 1 inches. Okay, if you notice, these blazer jackets are mostly slopey towards the back, you understand? The front is a bit longer going up towards the side, you understand? So this is how it's going to look, and this is the simple way of cutting blazer jackets. Okay, so here we're almost done. I'm now going to cut them out, as you can see in the video. All right, now remember that I'm only cutting the front for this curve there. Okay, so I need to make sure that I'm not cutting the back as well. All right, yeah, but then the slope is actually both the front and the back, you understand? I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, it's the front and the back. While yeah, I'm going to cut this part off now. Make it a little smooth to join the other part. All right, yeah, so at the end you can see now that the front is taller or longer than the back. Yeah, of course, you already know that this curve right here is also going to be applied only to the front. You understand? So I'm just going to cut carefully, and then In the back, I'm going to go down by half of an inch. Okay, it doesn't need to go down very well, so I'm just going to go down by half of an inch. Simply connect it to the other side. Alright, so in the end, this is what we have, and you just mark the wrong side, okay, so you don't flip it to the other way. I'm just going to show you how it looks like after cutting. Okay, so this is what you should be getting. Okay, so now we are going to go into the hemming part, the gumming parts. We are going to gum it, go to the machine and do some machine works. All right, so I'm going to try as much as possible to show all the processes, but the ones I cannot show, I will still explain. Okay, so go nowhere. All right, so welcome back. I just did the hemming. I used the light gums there to gum just parts of the blazer jacket. I don't want to go 360. Like, sorry, I don't want to go around, or didn't want to gum all the parts of the body. So because the material has weight and I'm also going to add lining, you understand? So I didn't want it to get too heavy. So I just did this part, but you can equally do round. So now I'm going to trace the lining, all right, the inner lining that will be used for the sewing. Okay, but then just as simple as you can see in the video, place your lining and just trace accordingly. Okay, can do a little fast forward if it's getting too slow, if you understand what I'm saying. So I don't even know why I did not fast forward this part. I'm supposed to fast forward this part, but then I didn't want to rush it. Wanted you to follow all the group processes and see how this is done. Okay, so just like I said, cut the lining. I folded the lining into two, so just one part is enough to cut for the both side, if you understand what I mean. So I am now going to cut the back same way that I did the front. Alright, so I'm simply going to do the same thing I did in the front. Place it properly and make sure it fits, and then you cut. I just have to do a little fast forward there to make the video a bit shorter. Okay, so it's just the same process. You're just tracing what you've cut already. Okay, so now this is what you're going to do. We are going to go to the machine right now. So this is what we are going to do. You're placing the lining on top of the front of the fabric. You're placing the lining on top of the front of the fabric, and then you're going to stitch this side as I'm showing you right now. You're going to stitch this side and then the armhole, leaving the shoulder and the side. Okay, you're going to leave the shoulder and the side. Now same thing is applicable to the back. Same thing is applicable to this back. You are going to stitch the neck, the armhole, and the down part of it, leaving the shoulder and the side. Okay, so now going to the machine. As you can see, I'm adding a a trouser gum. Most people call it trouser gum, while others call it a hemming gum. It helps the material to be firm when ironed. Okay, so I'm just going to trace it. That same area that I showed you to stitch, that's just exactly where I'm going to stitch. But then I'm adding a hemming gum while sewing it already. So after doing this, now I'm simply going to turn it over. Okay, remember you're placing the lining on the front. So now, as you can see now, I turned it over and then ironed it very well. As you can see, it is now firm and looking very sharp and nice. You understand? So this is what you're going to have after you've done the stitching and turned it over. You understand? This is the back. Okay, yeah. So now this is what we are going to do. Remember, we are leaving. We left the shoulders and the side. We left the shoulders and the side open. Okay, so now we are going to place the front side by side. Okay, and then we are going to stitch the shoulder and the armhole. Okay, so but then I'm doing a turnover. I'm not just stitching it like that. I'm just going to push it in, as you can see in the video, and then I will stitch it and then turn it over again. This the way the way we use in stitching the shoulders that hides our stitches. Okay, so after I've done that, you still do apply the same process to the side of the blazer jacket. All right, so right here, I've already added my adjuster and did put my button and all that, because basically once you're done with the shoulder and the side, you have your blazers.